everyone, welcome back to the Growth Academy, to a new episode of the live session of the week. And today is going to be everything about blogging and creating content. And today I have with me the founder of onlinebusinessambitions.com. John Rogers is here with me. Hi John, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm honored that you're considering me for your show, and I'm happy to be on your show. And hopefully I can give some good value to your readers and your viewers.
I'm sure you're going to do that. I'm going to
try.
Yeah. We're going to try always our best here, so don't worry. The first question I ask everyone who is here in my show is something about their story. So how they started, how they created the business. And I'm going to ask you the same thing. If you can give us a little story about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Happy to. So let's see. If we go back in the Wayback Machine, I got my degree in computer science. That's what I went to school for. So I kind of have like a technical background. So shortly after college, I found myself in the corporate world. Did pretty well there. Worked for some pretty big companies. IBM, for example, that was one of them. Sort of graduated through the ranks, went from programming to analysis to project management to program management, led a bunch of big teams, things like that. And for a while, I mean, things were great. I loved it, had the big salary, the success story, blah, blah, blah. But then I think it was like 2008, 2009, the old financial crisis hit. Right. So I ended up getting laid off. And so when I got laid off, I said to myself, all right, I'm going to have a little time here before I try to jump back into things. So, what do I really want to be when I grow up? So that's when I started looking into online business. I think that's when I read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And, anybody who reads that book, immediately you're like, oh, I got to try this. So I gave some thought to it, and I said, the safe thing to do is to go back to work. So that's what I did. I ended up pretty quickly finding a job back in the corporate world. Worked for a software development company doing project management. And as time went on, I realized this company is really not a good fit for me. The way they were kind of doing things wasn't the way I was used to. I didn't really like it. I just remember sitting in my cubicle going, you know what? I want to do this online business thing. I really do. I want to give it a try. So I saved up a bunch of money, and I think it was the end of 2012. Yeah, end of 2012. I gave my notice and shocked everybody. And they're really nice. They're like, well, we'll put you in a different position. Can we try something else? I'm like, nah, this just isn't a good fit. So left on great terms, so that was good. So then I had all this time. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something. So the first thing that I did, and I'm actually still doing this. Oh, sorry. I have two different websites. So the first one I started is called Honest Wine Reviews. And it's actually still going quite strong. So what that site is it's a wine review blog, and that's one of my passions is wine tasting. Mm-hmm. So I built that up. I'm up to like 200 reviews now. Built an audience, built an email list, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been doing that for quite a while actually. And then I said, you know what? What is it that I really like? I like the marketing part of it. I like the technical part. Going back to my computer science stuff. I like the email marketing. I like the sort of the game of SEO, that kind of thing. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna start a second site, and it's gonna be basically based on the lessons learned from Honest Wine Reviews, and that's when I started Online Business Ambitions, and that's the site I've been really putting my effort into lately. I started that in earnest the beginning of last year, so I still consider it very small. It's still kind of growing, mm-hmm. But I'm enjoying it because I know the things I need to do to grow it. So those are the things that I'm focusing on. So that's kind of my story. Started off with a passion project, and here I am now with Online Business Ambitions, and really putting a lot of effort into that.
Nice. And was it difficult to start from the beginning? Because I guess that with the other website you reach a certain level, and now you have to start from zero. You have to start it again from zero and build another website, build another audience. Was it difficult, or was instead a challenge and you were excited?
Yeah, bingo. It was a challenge, and I was excited.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, the smart thing that I did was that I didn't just stop Honest Wine Reviews, because if I stopped it, then I'd stop learning the lessons from that site. So it was a challenge. Or I should say, I was looking forward to the challenge. And that's, I enjoy having both sites now. So as a matter of fact, this week I'll be doing my next wine review for Honest Wine Reviews.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
And the first website you created was a blog as well, or you were just reviewing wines? How does it work?
Well, so it's a blog, but the blog posts are wine reviews.
All right.
So think of it that way, right?
All right.
So I mean, if you looked at the site, you'd see I have standard pages like your about page and contact and all that. But really, if you looked at the sitemap under posts, then you'd see all the different wine reviews. So that's how I do it. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you you were using affiliate marketing in there to get revenue, or was just a passion of yours and you were reviewing wines without any other objective in mind?
Yeah. So if I said that I had no other objective in mind, I'd be lying, because back when I got laid off, I started looking into how do you make money online.
Right.
So really what I did is I said, all right, I'm going to start this as a passion project. It's just basically going to be wine reviews, and let's see what happens, because this was my first foray into this world. So really the first thing that I did is like what everybody does. I put ads on the site. And so this was back in 2013 is when it started to take off a little bit. And that's when you actually made money from ads, which was nice. So I was getting regular checks from Google.
I see. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So that was kind of nice. So that's the first thing that I did in terms of trying to monetize the site. And then I wrote an ebook, sold that on Amazon. Still get a couple sales every now and then. That's certainly dropped off. And then probably the biggest source of revenue was affiliate marketing. So in the wine industry, there's wine clubs, and they have affiliate programs. So that's kind of what I pursued for affiliate.
I see.
For affiliate income for that site. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So you found different way to monetize your blog, and this is really, really interesting because many people, they want to start a blog and they have no idea how to monetize it or how to make a living out of it. So my next question is basically about this. It's about, well, actually I have two questions. Because actually now you open an entire new universe and I want to ask new things. But
go right ahead, my friend.
Yeah, the first question I have is how did you find your niche? How did you find the right way to start your blog? I mean, basically my question is, when you started with wine reviews, you decided to take wine as a niche because you thought that there was a market in that, or just because you were passionate? And my second question is, what you think is better? Is better to just choose something you're passionate about, or choose something that could be marketable?
I'm going to answer both questions with the same answer, and I think the answer is both. Now, when I was first starting this with Honest Wine Reviews, I didn't really know much better, so I just went with my passion. But so here's the thing. I look at it this way. If you're going to get started in the online business world, I suggest you look at three things, right? So the first thing is, what is it that you're passionate about? And then the second thing is, what do you have skills, like what kind of skills do you have that relate to that passion? Like, can you teach somebody something, what do you do with that? And then the third thing really is there a market for all of this? So I like to think of a Venn diagram, which is like that circle, and if I had a third hand, there'd be another circle. And so if you take the three circles and find where they overlap, or that you have an overlap, then that's a good thing. And the three circles are your passions, your skills, and the market. Right. So if you got, if you're passionate in something that nobody cares about, then you don't really have a market, right? Or if you have great skills in something, but it just bores you to death, then you're gonna get tired of writing about it. So you really need to have all three of those things together. So So if I can stick with this example of honest wine reviews, so my passion was wine, right? I love wine. I'm so amazed at all the work that goes into it, from farmers that grow the grapes to the whole bottling process, and it goes on and on. So that's a passion of mine, and I happen to have the skills where when I taste wine, I've got like super sensitive taste buds, and like I'm good with the nose and all that, and I can basically take any wine and break it down to a million different pieces. Mm-hmm. And then sort of my additional skill there is that I can explain that to people, right? So the market, right? So we got the passion, the wine, the skills is the tasting. The market is there's lots of people out there who drink wine, and a lot of people, at least that I see that come to my site, they are very interested in getting the best wine for the lowest price, right? So since I'm able to choose wines that aren't all that expensive, and since I'm able to describe wines very well and give my opinion as to what I think is good versus not good, since I can do all that and I put that into a website, people like that, right? So I check all the boxes. I got the passion, the skill, and there's a market for it. Right. So I guess that's my long-winded answer to your two-part question. I hope that worked.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
Awesome.
And
cool.
Yeah, no, perfect. Absolutely, you explain everything perfectly. And I understand how you can always find content for a wine website, because you, as you said, you have a passion about wine. You know everything about wine, and every single, let's say, week you review a different wine. But right now you have a different website, you have a different blog, yes, a different niche, right, a complete different market. So with wine, you have a lot of variety of wines you can review and a lot of posts that you can do. What about now? What about that you are in a different market and you don't have different objects that you can review? How can you find new topics every single week? How can you find new things to post about?
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess first off, I learned a lot about keyword research from the wine site. So, when you're researching terms that are very searchable, that's a skill that goes from one site to any site, really. Mm-hmm. So that was helpful. The other thing I kind of learned along the way was that there's three different ways I like to come up with topics, right? So one way is to listen to your readers and even the people around you, right? So for example, just yesterday I had somebody reach out to me on Facebook Messenger, a friend of mine, and she has a mobile bar business, and she said, John, give me some good, a red wine and a white wine that are under $20. Mm-hmm. So I was able to answer that. So, taking that to the online marketing world, you can do the same thing. You listen to the questions that your readers have when they contact you, or even when like someone like you and I are just talking. You listen to those questions. Another way of doing things is to ask questions. So one of the things that I do for online business ambitions is in my nurture sequence. I'm sure we'll talk about email marketing more, but in my nurture sequence, I ask a very simple question, and that is, when it comes to online business, what are you struggling with? Right. I just ask that question, and then I say, hit reply, let me know, and I'll do my best to help you out. So you get responses to those kind of questions. So I'll give you an example. Not too long ago, I had a young woman who, I'm pretty sure she was in college, because she was talking about like student blog kind of thing, and it was clear that as a college student she didn't have a lot of money. So the question that she really had was, I want to start a blog, but I really can't afford to purchase these 1 year, 3 year hosting plans, even though the more time you purchase, the lower the monthly price. She's like, I need something month to month, right? So I said, okay, well, let me look into that a little bit. So I looked into that a little bit for her, and I found that HostGator offers a month-to-month plan that's not too bad. It's somewhat affordable. So I responded back to her, and lo and behold, she's thank you, and then a couple weeks later, hey John, I started my blog. Thanks, I did it on HostGator, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm thinking, there's a blog post there, right? And really, the blog post is, how do you start hosting, or how do you buy hosting when you can only afford month to month,
Right.
right? So there you go. That's a way to get blog topics. And then another thing you can do is just hang out in Facebook groups that are related to your niche. And I like to just be a fly on the wall, just kind of like sit back, kind of lurk around and listen, and see what people are asking. What are the kind of questions that they have? So, so hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, definitely. I basically use the same technique. I use different techniques, but they are pretty similar to yours. And the last one that you said about Facebook groups or any kind of community is really good. Like, people usually don't think about that, but you have an entire community of people, and they are suggesting you topics to talk about. And sometimes I have students asking me, but how can I know which questions are the ones that are bringing more traffic? And even there, you have a lot of data on Facebook groups. Just go through all the different posts in the Facebook groups you're in, and then check for the ones with the most comments. They have the most comments in that, and then you already have the topics. They are the ones who will bring some traffic. Or just go to another blog, a blog that is of your competitors or something, and see the most popular articles. You already have a lot of data online. You have all the data that you want. You just have to look, and as you said, you have to listen. You have to open your eyes, and then you have all the answers you're looking for.
Can I give you an additional technique on that?
Definitely.
Okay, cool. So let's say you see something that comes up over and over again in a Facebook group, for example. One thing that I like to do is I like to go into the Google Keyword Planner and just kind of type in the topic. And just try some related topics too, and from there I like to see is there some decent volume in terms of search engine traffic to these particular topics or keywords. Lately I've been using this thing called Uber Suggest. It's by Neil Patel. It gives you similar information, also pretty good, but in the end I always go back to Google Keyword Planner. That way you're not trying to chase a term that only gets 10 views per month.
Right.
So, yeah. So anyway, I just thought I'd add that on.
Yeah, no, definitely. Even that, but there are so many techniques that you can use online, and well, you have an entire world of opportunities that is on the web, so that there is no way not to find topics to talk about or write about or shoot video about. And apart from this, how do you find traffic? How do you drive traffic to your content? Because now we realize how to create content and how to get ideas, but how can you drive traffic to your content?
Yeah, lots of different ways. I really try to focus on SEO just because I've spent a lot of time learning it, and I think you get a lot of longer term traffic from SEO. So that's always my number one thing is let's do SEO first, but there's other ways to do it, obviously. So lately for online business ambitions, I've been really putting a big focus on using Pinterest. And a lot of people aren't really aware that Pinterest is it's like a visual search and discovery platform, I guess you want to call it.
Right. So
a lot of the same concepts of SEO that you'd use for Google or any of the search engines also work for Pinterest. The only thing is that you have to kind of get fairly good with creating decent graphics. They're called Pinterest pins, and keywording the text that goes with those graphics and the text overlays, and there's other things you need to do with that. But something I've been looking into a lot, and it's starting to drive some traffic. It's funny. It had always been driving traffic to my wine site. And I never really put much effort into like making decent looking pins. But I saw that it was bringing in a little bit of traffic. So that's when I said, all right, I got to, do more of what's working, right? So I'm doing that. And then, there's social media. You can get a quick burst of traffic through the social media sites. I find that they don't, at least for me, they don't really last all that long. I just think it's because these platforms, they'll show you the latest thing, and then there's the next thing and the next thing, and then you're like gone.
Yeah.
But lately I've been experimenting with Twitter, just
Mm-hmm.
because it seems to have a resurgence in popularity lately. So I'll try to do things where you find accounts that do a lot of these retweets. So I try to use some of those, and I usually get a good burst of traffic when I use those.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some ways. If you have an email list and you're building your email list, you should always let your email list know when you've published something new, because you also get a bit of a burst of traffic from that. And it's just good to get people back to your site so you stay top of mind.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the pretty simple, pretty common methods I use to try to get traffic back.
Right. I have a question I actually had about Pinterest, because you were
Yeah,
talking about this, and it's a tool that not so many people use.
right. Especially
Usually
guys.
when,
There's not
yeah,
a lot of us guys on there.
yeah, no, exactly. And mostly because when you think about traffic, you are thinking about the big social medias like Facebook, Twitter, you're thinking about Instagram, and it's right. These are the big places where all people are hanging out. But there are
Yeah,
some smaller ones that are really effective if you use them in the right way, and you don't have that much competition that you may have on Facebook or Instagram, for example. And I think that
right.
Pinterest is exactly about that. Is a place that is not that overcrowded. It was more crowded in the past, I think, and right now there are less people that are using it, maybe because of Instagram. And
Mm.
but I found a lot of I got a lot of traffic out of pins, as you said.
Oh,
I
cool.
didn't use it that much, but when I tried to use it, I got this burst of traffic to my website. But I wanted to ask you, how do you use it? Like, how did you use it for your one website? Were you creating I don't know, infographics, or were you creating a tab with wines, or what were you doing there?
Yeah, so I can tell you about both sites actually. So for Honest Wine Reviews, the first thing I did, and this is going a few years back now, is I just put the picture of the wine bottle of
Mm-hmm.
the wine that I was reviewing, and I put a little bit of text to go with it's the pin description basically.
Right.
And I said, if you want to hear more, click on over and read the full review, that kind of thing. And then as time went on, and I found that there more people were using Pinterest, and it was getting a little more competitive. Then it got to the point where you really needed to grab people's eye a little more. So I started using templates from Canva,
Right.
or just kind of create my own templates. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. I basically have it's like I take a pin, I split it in 50-50, and on top I have the wine bottle, and then I have a nice little graphic, with the website name and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Click to read that, or click to see, or something like that.
Right.
So I do that, and then for online business ambitions, that's where I'm putting more of my focus on when it comes to Pinterest. So I'm experimenting with different graphics that I create. I haven't created any infographics, only because I'm a little bit lazy and I don't want to spend the time to really create all that.
Right.
I'm trying to do more of the quick hit pins.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really
But they're working
experimenting.
good as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Right.
it's not the site's still new, and I'm still kind of new at doing all this with these experiments. But I'm regularly seeing, I don't know, maybe 10 people a day coming to online business ambitions
Mm-hmm.
with those pins. So
Yeah,
so
that
yeah, so
is.
that's how I do it. I'm also doing some Pinterest ads. I'm
Oh,
experimenting
I
with
see.
that too because they're really cheap.
Oh, really? Okay, I never tried
Yeah,
that. Still haven't tried that.
yeah.
Okay.
If you're gonna do any paid traffic strategy, give them a try
Mm-hmm.
because they're, like I said, they're cheap. Cost per leads are low. I'm finding it good. So
Nice, nice. That's something that I have to put on the list for next time I'm gonna use some ads. All right. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, and you talked about this briefly before, is email marketing. And I think
sure.
it's a big thing. Building your list, building your email list is one of the most important thing in online marketing and creating an online business. So if you can give us some, I don't know, tips about that, how to build your email list consistently every single day, what you're doing for your website, what you suggest to do, whatever you can say on that topic.
Sure. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to segue from the Pinterest ads thing to answer your question. I have a few different answers, but I'll start with that since we were just talking about it. So what I'm doing with Pinterest specifically is I've created a nice pin, and it's basically for an email course that I offer for free. It's called the Blogging Startup System. It's basically a 7-day course on how to start a blog. So what I'm doing is I'm running that Pinterest pin as a paid ad. So that means that it's always showing up near the top of people's feeds. And what I do is I run that to a landing page. Now, a lot of people might say run it to a blog post and put something in the blog post to grab someone's email address. But I tried that, and I didn't have nearly as much success as I'm having with a specific landing page. In the landing page itself, I mean, it's like a sales page, trying to sell you that email course, even though it's free. So in terms of building your list, if you're going to go down that path, definitely use a landing page. I highly recommend it.
Right.
So let's see some other things that I do. I have a post footer. So at the bottom of every post, I basically have the same form, and it's again trying to pitch my email course, and this is on Online Business Ambitions. So I do that. I definitely suggest doing that. Content upgrades inside blog posts. As long as you're getting good traffic to those blog posts, then those can convert.
Right.
So I do all that. It's important to continue to produce good content on a regular basis. That's going to attract more and more people and kind of get that engine flowing of getting people onto your list. I tried pop-ups. I personally don't like them. I have nothing against anybody who wants to use them.
Nobody likes pop-ups.
I know, but I hear that they convert great.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I can't do it. So yeah, and then you can do things like put forms in your sidebar, that kind of thing. I find that those don't work as well as things like landing pages and post footers and all that. So those are the things that that I'd suggest.
Right. Nice. And about affiliate marketing, even that, do you think is something that, because I'm thinking about a person who is starting a blog right now or wants to start a blog, and do you think it's something that someone should start from the beginning, should put in his blog from the beginning, or you think there is something that is more advanced and at the start you have to think about other things?
Yeah, I don't think it's all that advanced, to be honest with you. And there's something to be said for right away, kind of like letting people know that this is a business. I'm not just here to to have fun.
Right.
People, I think they take you more seriously when they realize you're a business. So yeah, I mean, I would get started right away with affiliate marketing. I wouldn't wait. I definitely didn't wait too long with Honest Wine Reviews. Matter of fact, I have one blog post. It's a review. One review of a wine club that I did on Honest Wine Reviews, and that one post has made me over $5,000. And I mean, it took me, I don't know, a day to write the review. Maybe a day to, I had to order the wine. It was for a wine club. I had to order the wine club. I had to try the wines. Had to make sure that I liked the wine club, because actually that's a good point. If you're going to be doing affiliate marketing and you're going to do a review post, make sure you actually like the product. Right. Because if you're trying to pitch a product that you really don't like, but you're just trying to make money from it, you're not going to come off as genuine at all. People are smart. They'll see right through that. So getting back to my wine club review. So I tried this wine club, loved it, felt like I could put myself behind it. So that's what I did. I did just super long review, put some affiliate links in there. Wasn't overly pushy with it, because I think people see through that too. Sure. But yeah, so I put some affiliate links to that, and because it was a really nice long review, and it had good traffic from Google picked it up quickly. I got some links from other sites, and so it just shot to the top of the search engine rankings. And it stayed there for quite a while now, actually, which is good. So that's what I did. And getting back to your question, don't wait, just do it.
Right.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just start. So to summarize everything, if someone has to start right now, imagine that you have a guy, someone, a person who wants to start a blog. What would be the things that you suggest to start? Like, what do I have to do to start a blog?
Right. So the first thing I would do is really think about your niche or your niche, however you say that. You know, I mentioned before the identifying your passions, your skills, and whether or not there's a market. So you got to do a little research there. You know, go online, see if there's other people who are doing something similar, because if there is, then there's more likely to be a market. You know, if you're the first person, actually, I can share a great lesson learned with you. So after doing Honest Wine Reviews, I tried doing a website to teach people how to start a wine blog. And I was like, okay, well, there's all these wine bloggers, you know, this is going to work, right? So I went through all this effort to do that, and it was crickets. I even put together a course, and I sold 2 people. Sold the course to 2 people in like a year. So yeah, do your research first. You know, I should have known better. I let my passion get ahead of, you know, the market. So yeah, so if you do see that people have you know, blogs or online businesses related to what you want to do, it's not a bad thing. It means that there's probably a market for it. So I would definitely recommend that. Like I said, you know, do your research on your niche. You know, make sure that you have a passion for what it is, because you got to remember you're going to be doing this for a long period of time. There's absolutely no get rich quick if you're going to try to, you know, do this for real. So if you're not really into what you're trying to write about, then you're going to run out of things to say. You're not going to come across with any excitement in your words, right. And people they're going to know, and they're just going to click away. Bye bye. So I would definitely suggest those 2 things, and then, you know, just be ready to really buckle down and be consistent. You know, you're going to have to produce a lot of content. You're going to probably have to get pretty good at writing, not like, you know, college level writing, but at least, you know, writing so that people can find you relatable, that kind of thing. And you're going to need to do it on a regular basis. So I think that's the advice I would give to people.
Nice stuff. Okay,
sure.
So John, thank you very much for all the tips and all the advice. And if people want to find something more about you, where can they find you?
Yeah, well, I'd say come on over to onlinebusinessambitions.com. From there, you can get to the contact page, or you can sign up for the email course, either one. But that's where most of my energy is right now, and I'd love to see people over there.
Nice, I'm sure then a lot of people will check your website. Okay, guys, you're watching here. If you like this episode, or if you think that one of your friends can be helped by this episode, you can share it wherever you are. And this is gonna be is right now on YouTube, on Facebook. I put it on everywhere, on any platform. So just share it away. You have my consent. So go on. Thanks again, John, for your time and all your advice.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.